Hi, thanks for joining us for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. A healthy green lawn really makes a yard, but just like all plants, turf grass can get diseases too. Today we will identify some of the most common problems. Also, fall is a good time to divide hostas. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Booker T. Lee. Mr. Booker is a UT Extension agent here in Shelby County, and Ms. Cheryl Lockhart will be joining me later. Mr. Booker, our grass guy, how's it going today?
Glad to be here, man. Always good to be on your show here. I enjoy it all the time, man. This is great here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me on here.
Sure. So today we're going to talk about common lawn diseases of warm season grasses. So what would you like to start with that?
Okay, a lot of times, this has been a year that we had a lot of disease on our grasses now. And then the top disease that we normally see in our warm season grass is brown patch, rust, fair ring, and spring dead spot. But we do have more disease that get on our lawn than that.
Sure.
And we see brown patch a lot of times. Brown patch, you see that in the spring of the year. And you look at the grass real close, because a lot of these diseases look alike, you know, on your lawn
That's
there.
So, sure. Okay.
So how you identify that brown patch on there, you will see some brown ledge inside the leaf blade of that grass. When you look on that blade, you'll see some brown ledge on the side of the leaf blade. And also in the middle of that grass, it kind of thin out a little bit. You can tell then you have a brown patch in there. Over a period of time, that brown patch can get 20 feet in there because it'll spread over there in that area. So you normally see this during the green up period. And what causes the disease most of the time is that on our lawn is poor drainage.
Poor drainage.
You know, there's a lot of poor drainage there. You need to make sure that on that grass that it drains well.
Okay.
Because if you got any kind of water going to stand in there, and you realize this year we had a wet spring.
We did.
We had a wet spring. Yeah. Also, we had that snow and ice in February back there. And all that had a major part on our grass there for the disease problem. And I think that's why we had so many diseases this year that people were calling about, because of the spring and the snow and ice got on there. And plus you got that poor drainage. And that would cause those brown patch. Wow. And we've seen a lot of stuff on there. And we get a lot of calls on brown patch on there. Then next week you might see on your lawn there, the rust disease. And that attack my grass sometimes. And on the rust disease, you might see a little spores on the grass. You know, it might look kind of yellow. And you can tell that because when you start walking across that grass on there, cutting that grass there, you can see it on your shoes, on your lawnmower, and doing that. And also in that grass, we get the rust on it, that grass is weak.
Okay.
It get weak in there. And that's caused by a lot of stress. You know, and we don't want our grass stressed out now.
Right.
A good healthy lawn can fight off a lot of diseases. You know, fight off a lot of diseases. Just like your body, you got a good immune system, good system, you can fight off a lot of disease.
Right.
Same thing about grass. Keep that grass healthy and everything, you do that.
So the cultural practices are real important.
It's really important. That's what we tell everybody to recommend, that you get a soil test.
Right.
Get that soil test. Add some lime to it, you need to add lime. Add phosphorus potassium to it, you need to add phosphorus potassium to that grass, because those are the important things for that grass to do well in there. Yeah. And I tell everybody, when you got diseases on your lawn, you know, try to bag that grass. You know, don't just let that clipping go on there. Try to pick that grass out of there, and you want to go back on there, because you don't want to spread the disease in there. And this is when I had on my grass too a long time, fair ring.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I had that a lot of time on my lawn. And that normally caused by, you'll see some area caused by, you had a tree there. You had a stump there, you removed that stump and everything, and the root system was still in the ground. And when that grass begin to rot and decay and everything in there, begin to come in there. Okay. And sometimes you just might not see the mushroom. A lot of people look for the mushroom in there. You might just see a ring in there, so like a green ring in there. And then you know the organic material begin to break down in there. So you see that in there. But you will see those mushrooms that get in there and cause it to get in there on that lawn, in that circuit in there. And that normally comes when you have a lot of rain.
Right.
You know,
which is bad, right.
Because the moisture get in the soil, and it just pop those up. And I can tell now where I had that tree located, I still see some. I might just see one or two now. I don't see a whole big ring of them like I used to. Okay. Because as I get older, it begin to rot and decay now. You begin seeing that now, it begin to go away. Okay. So it will go away over a period of time, but you know, some people can't stand it. Yeah. You know, why you go out there and pull them up? You know, you get to put some gloves on, go out there and pull up and put them in a bag and get.
I guess that's an option, right?
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, you pick them up in there. So, but normally they come when you have a lot of moisture.
Right.
And this thing. And the next one we have is spring dead spot.
Oh yeah.
It appears kind of like old grass, not old grass, but 3 to 5 years old.
Okay.
I don't call that really old
Right.
in there. And then you normally see this in Bermuda grass. Normally in spring dead spot, it appears in the same location every year. But during the summertime, it'll cover that up sometimes. It'll grow over there. But if you don't treat it, it don't get large enough each year.
Wow.
You need to treat that now. But you want to treat that maybe in the fall of the year and then try to get rid of that in there. And in that spring dead spot, let's say it will spread every year and get larger and larger over there. You don't treat that.
Wow.
And we tell everybody, you try to have that good healthy turf.
Right.
Now you can fight off a lot of those diseases in there by having a good healthy turf in there. It won't kill your grass. It won't kill your grass over there.
Okay.
And stuff in there. But try to bag that grass when you get with that disease in there. Try to bag those grasses in there.
Okay. Can you compost that? Or would you recommend composting or not if it's disease?
Depending on where I put it at in there. 'Cause I don't want to put a lot of disease on it in there. Now I wouldn't use that for putting no vegetable garden like that in there. I wouldn't use no vegetable garden and stuff in there because you don't want to get that disease into your garden, in there. So you don't know how it's going to affect that and stuff in there.
Okay. So let's again tell the folks about the cultural practices.
One of the things is watering, cutting at the right height. Bermuda grass and zoysia, you want to keep about 2.5 to 3 inches tall in there during the growing season. You can't let those clippings stay on the grass on the lawn. You use a mulching mower, and that adds organic material to the soil. And also you want, like I said, detach and aerate. You want to have good drainage in there. But the soil test is the best thing to tell what you need to add to your soil. And for your warm season grass, you need a soil pH between 6.0 and 6.5.
Okay.
And the only way you can tell that is by a soil test.
By a soil test.
by a soil test. And I like to send off to a good lab because they run through a lot of different tests and everything. Now you can buy these little things to put in the soil. They give you an indication.
Right.
But you won't get
You won't get a recommendation.
Yeah, you send it off there. They'll give you a recommendation. They'll tell you what to add to it and how much to add to that.
Right.
And then when you send it off to one of the lab or something,
Okay.
they tell you what to do in there and doing that. But you watch other disease on that now. We do have other disease that get on our grass sometimes now, but we had a lot of calls about this year.
Right.
And those are 5 we had a lot of calls about it. It attacked that warm season grass.
Okay.
In there. And what the community called by wet spring, sometimes it rained, then we had getting these cool nights. A lot of times people wonder why my warm season grass not doing anything. A lot of times warm season grass will grow real good, especially Bermuda grass, when they had those warm nights and everything. But when it was wet in there, it causes a lot of disease to get on there and everything in there. So you need to make sure you got that in there.
So we can see from what you're telling us, drainage is important.
Drainage is important for your lawn, and that's why I need to know drainage is very important in there, and have that good soil. When you get that compact soil,
right,
it's not going to drain well. So that's why you need to aerate the soil. You need to aerate it.
Okay.
And when you aerate the soil, you need to aerate that soil when that grass begin to grow.
Right.
If it warm season grass, it will begin to grow probably sometime in May, and everything just depends. In your cool season grass begin to grow in September, sometime like that, depending where you're located.
Fall. Okay.
In there. So yeah.
All right. So those are our common diseases of the warm season.
Common
grass.
diseases of the warm season grass that we have in there. And Dr. Cooper, I get some on my yard too. I get them on my grass too. They get them on there. They will get on there and everything. But I try to have that healthy turf though, and try to in doing that.
All right. Well, we appreciate that information much
Okay.
from our lawn guy. Thank you much. We appreciate that.
It's been really dry for a couple of weeks now, and your grass beginning to look like this here now. It's time to start giving the grass some water. And you don't want it to go in the dormancy looking like this here. Your Bermuda grass needs about 1 inch of water a week. You want to give it all at one time. If you start running off again, you need to stop for a while and let it soak in, then start back. But make sure you want to get that water down to the root system now. Do not shadow water your lawn grass. If you do, you don't still have more problem. But you want to when you start seeing like this here, it's time to water that lawn grass and get that water down to the root system, and that's where you do that. And the best time to do that is early in the morning time. You get more water down to the root system.
We're going to learn how to divide hostas. Michelle's going to show us all about it. So where do you want to start?
Well, I brought a couple of hostas this morning, and I wanted to say, first of all, you don't necessarily have to divide your hostas.
You don't have to. Okay.
But if they are too big in your garden and you want to spread them around your yard, by all means you can divide them. And now is a good time to do that because it's fall now.
Okay.
The air is cooler at the night. It's not so
Yes.
hot in the daytime. Your garden should be workable, your garden beds if you're in your flower beds, or I grow many of my hostas in pots because I have a vole problem and also tree roots. So if you're going to, before you begin dividing your hostas, I please urge everyone to look at your hostas. You do not want to divide a hosta that has a disease. You do not want to divide a hosta that has nematodes, which is a little microscopic worm that crawls up the leaf blade, and you can see it in the leaf blade. It would be in the blade itself, and it would be like a little brown strip. And if you have nematodes, they are definitely evident now in the garden. You may not see them in the spring, but you will see them now. Do not divide a hosta that has nematodes. They're spread by water droplets, and I don't want them. Also, if you have a hosta that may have hostavirus X, which is, you can see that by, these hostas do not have any diseases. If this hosta had hostavirus X, you would see bleeding in the veins of the hosta. It looks like if you had watercolors and you dropped it on a napkin, it would sort of like bleed out. Or the leaf itself might be puckered or misshapen in some way, and you do not want to divide a hosta that has hostavirus X. Both those diseases are being studied by the American Hosta Society. They are sponsoring studies to eliminate those diseases, or at least find out more about them. So if you have a hosta in a pot, and I brought mine, this little hosta right here, it was in a pot. It is got a lot of roots. It's very root bound. Hostas do like to be root bound, but I am ready to divide this one. Before I came, I took it out of the pot. I washed it off really well so you could see the roots.
Looks good, fibrous.
Yes, they do. They're nice roots. I also dipped it in a little bit of, in my water, I soaked it. Water, water, water before you divide. I soaked it in some water that had just a little bit of bleach in it, like 1 part bleach, 9 parts water, in case there were any bacteria or anything. It doesn't hurt the hosta, and it helps in the...
I smelled bleach.
That's right. I just soaked them both. Now, lots of roots. Before I put it in a pot, I want to kind of spread my roots out. And I watered it well. Like I said, water, water, water. Hostas love water, but they don't want to be too much water. You have to have a good porous soil. So, for this hosta, it's kind of hard to see, but we're going to just divide it. I'm just going to cut it right here.
So you can just dive in and just be violent?
I'm just dividing it. I'm just going to dive right in. Now, you don't want to divide a hosta too much, because if you've heard of peep, creep, leap. So if you have a big, beautiful hosta at home in your garden bed, and it is gorgeous and big, and you decide that you want to divide it, you may not ever, it may or may not get that big and beautiful again. But if you want to move it around your garden, that's all right. Take a couple of years to come to maturity again. All right. So now, if I had more water, I would have divided this up. But what I want to do is, I have a good loose soil here. And I have taken, since I'm putting them in pots, I took a potting soil mix, and I also add to it. I add soil conditioner, and I also add, you can buy a soil that's for trees and shrubs. It has a lot of bark in it. I want a good porous soil. That's what I'm trying to do. I want good drainage. Good drainage.
And usually that's especially like pine bark.
Yeah, that's right. What it looks like is in it.
That's what it is. So let me just put some soil in here real quick. All right, now, that's enough to start. And we do not want to bury them too deep. If you're in your garden, in your flower bed, make your hole wider than deep. They want to be at the same level, and you want to, the soil needs to be workable, but you don't want to bury it deep. You make a little, either in the pot or in the ground, make a little cone shape. If you have problems with voles, which some people do, you can, if you like, take some pea gravel or crushed rock and put it around your cone right here in the garden bed. Then you take your hosta here in the, I don't need it here in the pot. We're going to spread our roots out just a little bit.
Pull them apart, huh?
Right, We want to, maybe I have a little too much dirt. That's all right. This is just demonstration. Put it right in here, kind of spread them out. Set them up on this little cone, spread the roots out, spread them down, and
just fill.
And just fill it up.
You might have done this a time or two, huh?
Oh, yeah, I would say I've done this a few times. I need to go down here where it won't spread and get all over your table.
Oh, that's all right.
All right.
You just can't do this without making a mess.
Right.
Nope, it's going to be messy. Okay. Now it's
Making
a
a mess
good
is the fun
porous
part.
soil.
It is, yeah.
It has a lot of pine bark mulch, pine bark in it and mulch, and so it's good and porous.
Okay.
And if we were outside, I would water this well. You don't need to fertilize now,
Okay.
but I'm dividing my hostas now so that they have time to settle in the ground and kind of get acclimated to their new location before it frosts.
Good deal.
Okay.
Now, while we have some time left,
All right.
you want to try to...
All right. This hosta is a hosta guacamole. Let me just-
Guacamole.
I'm gonna put this down.
Okay.
Hosta guacamole, one of my favorites. This is an easy hosta to grow here in the Mid-South.
Nice.
I also took this one out of a pot. It was pretty root bound, and I've already washed it, and I soaked it in a little bit of bleach water. And I was going to divide it, and pull off all this funk. If your hostas are starting to go down like this, if you wanted to cut them off now, you can do that, but you don't have to do that.
Okay.
This one, when it was in a pot, it's still beautiful. I'm not ready to cut this off. I'm still ready to let it show off in my garden because it is
Okay.
beautiful. But as I washed this hosta, it just sort of fell apart. So,
Again, nice fibrous roots.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
very
real
good
healthy
roots.
looking.
and try not to cut them if you can help it. But if you can just pull them apart.
Okay.
A bad
like
hair
this.
day, right?
It looks like
So this one didn't really need to be cut, but it just came apart so well.
okay.
All right, and then since this is a nice big piece, I don't want to divide it too much.
Okay.
I want it to be able to come back and be beautiful again next year and the year after that and the year after that.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave this big one just the way it is. And we'll take out some of this yellow that I don't need.
Okay.
Okay, and I have a big heavy pot, and these are perfect pots for staying out in the yard. No problem at all.
Let me get this up for you.
All right.
So the freeze won't hurt them like
Not
it
at
does
all.
some ceramic pots.
Not at
yeah.
all. And by the way, when I get done or when I go home, I will put some pine bark mulch around this, some soil conditioner, and you should do that in the garden bed as well because
You want me to dump it in for you?
That'd be great. You don't want to have them
Now that you direct me.
heave out in the wintertime.
Let me know when now.
Okay, whoa right there.
Okay.
Whoa,
Whoa,
right there.
whoa, she says. Okay.
So we want to, now I know it doesn't look pretty now, but that doesn't matter. We're worried about springtime. I'm going to spread my
Looks
roots
pretty
out.
good to me.
Spread my roots out. Now you want to pour some more dirt in here
okay.
for me? Okay. And I was speaking of heaving out of the ground. You know what that means. If the way the winters are, it can be warmed and cold and warmed and cold, and that can make the hosta heave out of the ground, and we do not want that to happen
Is it
because
coming
once
out
they
there?
come out,
Yeah, make sure it comes out.
Here, let's sit it down. I'll just pick it
Okay.
up. You want it to stay in the ground because if they come out and you're not out there in the wintertime, when you go back and you have a hosta that is just sitting on top of the ground, it is frozen and it will just die.
All right, Miss Cheryl, we appreciate the demonstration that you've done for us today.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
much. All right.
Deep watering is really important with vegetable plants, but a lot of times the surface of the soil will get a crust on it that won't let you get the water through. It'll just want to run off. So here's a way that I use to try and deep water my vegetable plants. I take a milk carton that's empty that I've rinsed out, and I put a little hole here in the bottom. It doesn't have to be very big, maybe 1/8 of an inch in diameter like that. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that milk carton and put it here next to the plant I wanna water, and then just go ahead and fill it up. I will fill this with a gallon of water, and it'll take it 5 or 10 minutes to empty out. And that then lets the water soak in instead of running off. Every day you can go out and just fill up all your milk cartons if you have one next to each plant that you wanna water, and you get deep watering of that plant every day.
All right, here's our Q&A segment. You ready?
I'm ready.
We got some great questions here.
Okay, then. Let's get them. See if we
All
can
right.
answer a question there.
Well, let's get to it. Here's our first viewer email. How do I get rid of algae in my lawn?
Okay.
How about that one? So, can you help us out with that?
Well, one thing about algae in your lawn, you could have a couple things going on. You could have shade problem. she had compact soil problem, and she had the soil pH problem. And you got in that poor drainage, that's called that agile to grow on there. If you're trying to get the grass and everything to grow there, and you got a tree that you probably might want to limit the tree up some, for most sand, but most sunlight can get down into the and hit that in there and try to dry to keep the soil kind of dry there. And also you might want to aerate, and you know, maybe kind of loosen that soil up some for the water can drain in there. But that agile gonna grow in there, especially if you got a compact soil and putting soil pH is off. You'll see that in there. And then how you check your soil pH and maybe add lime to it or whatever you need to add to it to get it right in there. You're trying to get out of there, you limit your tree up some and try to get more sunlight in there.
Yeah, so all of these things you're talking about are cultural practices.
Cultural practice, yeah.
Cultural practices are so important.
So important in your landscape, yeah. Right. That's why I say you need to check on everything all the time, the soil test and water in there.
Right.
And we don't want to overwater our plant.
Right.
You know, we get a lot of rain from rainwater, but you don't want to overwater yourself.
Right.
So most plants will do well pretty good in about an inch of water a week.
Okay, an inch of water a week. Yeah, because algae, anytime I hear algae or see it, you see it in areas where the drainage is poor.
Poor drainage, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so do those cultural practices and you'll be just fine.
Yep.
All right, here's our next viewer email. This one is interesting. I have been battling ground ivy for over a decade. It comes in from my neighbor's yard and makes its way across mine. I recently had an area of the yard cleared of trash trees and the ground was left in a very rough state, which has only made it easier for the ground ivy to spread. I would prefer a solution that is non-chemical. Also, the area is rather large, so it must be something that can be applied from a handheld sprayer. How do I get rid of a large area of ground ivy? Any ideas would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Patricia. So she's having a problem with ground ivy. Creeping Charlie, is another name for ground ivy. So a couple of things here before you jump in, right?
Okay.
Ground ivy is in the mint family.
Okay.
Loves to grow in shady areas and areas that are poorly drained.
Okay, then.
Right. So we need to introduce some sunlight to the area, right? And improve the drainage.
Improve the drainage, yeah.
Right. But the question is, how do I get rid of a large area of ground ivy?
And she don't want to use no chemical.
And she don't want to use
chemical in there.
All right.
And the best
It's gonna be tough now.
It'd be tough to get rid of. And the best thing that try to catch and pull it out of there. She can do that.
Pull it out.
Because
it grows by stolen.
By stolen, yeah. Right. But you need to try to get all the root system there.
You better.
You don't leave some in there.
Right.
And also, if it's real problem there, when you have some hot days, you might want to cover it with some plastic, try to smother it out.
I would smother it out with some plastic.
With plastic on there and try to get it real hot and then let it die and stuff in there. So that's about the only way she can get rid of it. She don't want to use chemicals on there and everything.
Right. So Ms. Patricia,
it's gonna take some time.
It's gonna take some time. Hand pulley. Now you can mow it because we know you mow your yard twice a week, right?
Yeah.
So you can mow it and try to exhaust the root system of carbohydrates. That's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
And then the third option, of course, would be solarization. I would cover it with a plastic, especially during the summer months.
Yeah.
Let it heat up, let it kill.
Let it kill it.
Those stolons.
Try to get rid of it. Yeah.
And see if you can do it that way.
You can do it like that way. That'd be the best way to do that. Yeah.
Then get you good grass in there.
Get the grass in there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Get the grass in there, growing in there.
Right.
And stuff. Yeah. The ground, that'd be hard to get rid of it.
It's gonna be hard.
It'll be hard.
It's gonna be hard.
But you want to put it out there.
It's gonna be tough. So thank you, Ms. Patricia. Got a lot of work ahead of you.
Got a lot of work ahead. Yeah.
Here's our next viewer email. What type of weed is this? It closes at dusk and opens up in the morning. This is Margie from Memphis, Tennessee. Beautiful wildflower, don't you think?
You look good, don't it?
Right?
Yeah.
That's the Carolina false dandelion.
Okay.
Carolina false dandelion. You see it in fields, pastures, and I have seen them in some landscape situations as well. So here's the thing. It's a winter annual or biennial.
Okay.
You have a basal rosette of leaves.
Okay.
The leaves are hairy, they're deeply lobed, and it has a taproot system. Right. So that plant will then give rise to a flower stalk.
Okay.
Flower stalks will have a lot of branches on them, or can have a lot of branches on them. And at the end of those branches will be, guess what? The flower.
Flower. Okay.
Right. And as you can see, it's a yellow flower.
Okay.
And it blooms in the spring and in the summer.
Okay.
Right. Beautiful bloom. Right.
Yeah.
So Carolina false dandelion, wildflower.
Wildflower. Okay then. That was wildflower. Okay then. That's good then.
So that's what that is, Ms. Margie. We thank you for that question. Yeah.
That's a good question. Good question there then.
All right. So thank you much. Here's our next viewer email. When is a good time to seed bare areas in my fescue lawn? And this is from Bob. So we're talking about bare areas in fescue, which is a
Cool season.
Right.
There's a cool season grass, and normally this cool season grass start growing in the fall of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't try to do any seeding, though. You need to do it in the fall of the year when that grass begin to actually grow, and that's in the fall of the year when they be doing that. And you're going to see if it's a small area, you can maybe give them a little garden rake or something and rake that area up in real good and just and loosen that soil up some. Then you come in and sow your seeds in there, and you try to keep those seeds moist in there. You might want to cover with some hay or straw or something in there. You might cover those seeds over there and keep it moist. Now, if you've got a large area now that in the yard there, you might want to get your little small tiller and till it a little bit and loosen that soil up a little bit. Then sow your seeds in there. So you got to come and contact some good soil. And it'd be a good time while he's doing that, just, like I said, to check that soil pH in there while he's doing that in there in that area. Now, fescue, you might do that more than one time to oversee that to get it kind of thick like you wanted to get it.
And we're talking about fescue here in the South.
In the South, yeah. In the South, yeah.
Okay. So it does grow here, but
yeah, it'll grow here and start, like here in the South, and normally start growing probably in September sometime when you get grass, get cool grass when it begin to grow.
Okay.
So he want to do his seed then in there, so he get ready to catch on.
Okay.
Then he might want to come back in again sometime like in March and oversee it again, then we get that area really in there. Okay. For that fescue. But that's the best time to do that. You see that in there. So yep, he can get it to going back again.
Get it going again. And fescue does need a lot of water.
A lot of water,
Climbing in the South.
Because a lot of times it be under trees and need more water.
Okay. So it need a little bit more water.
Yeah, you need that water in there.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Bob. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. Some good questions too, like you said.
Great questions.
Great
good
questions.
pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, appreciate you being here again.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Enjoyed it.
Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email or letter. The email address is familyplot@wkno.org, and the mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee 38016. Or you can go online to familyplotgarden.com. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for joining us. If you want to learn more about what we talked about today, head on over to familyplotgarden.com. We have more videos on lawns, hostas, and hundreds of other gardening topics. Be sure to join us next week for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.